second half.
Here comes Hooten gonna score the 2 and 1.
Full drive inside. Stop. Hang on a pivot. Turnaround jump shot is good.
Jordan Battle with a nice spin move. Kicks it down low. Fardon, Big Maple with the finish.
What's up, everybody? It is a glorious Tuesday morning. It is going to be about 95 here in Utah today. I don't know what it's going to be like in East Texas. I can only imagine the humidity that you guys deal with. I have Sam Houston, head coach, Jason Hooten. It's part of the Eat 'em Up Cats week here at WAC Hoops Digest. Jace, thanks for taking the time this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me. And it's probably going to be about 105 here today. So 95 would be a cold front for us.
Well, and so you guys get to like what, 100% humidity down there, or is it just it's not a dry heat like I have in Utah?
Correct. No, it's totally opposite. To be honest with you though, Kyle, I think when you've lived here as we have for 18 years, you just don't even check that. I don't check the humidity part. I think you just appreciate it and just kind of comes with the territory. So I'm a runner. It definitely is easier to run in the dry heat than it is in the humidity. But it just makes you tougher and puts you in better shape.
Nice. I like it. So how's the summer been? I mean, it's been busy. We've talked a little bit. We've been texting a little bit back and forth about scheduling and how crazy that is. But, I mean, overall, how's the summer been for you guys?
It's been, I think, really productive, but it's also been really fast. One of my dad's favorite sayings is the older you get, the faster time goes. And, man, it just seems like this summer's flown by. But I do feel like we've gotten a lot accomplished and done. Our first 4 weeks, we had 4 of our 6 newcomers here for summer school. And those guys, had an opportunity to work full time with the strength coach. And we got a chance to teach them a few of, our offensive and defensive schemes and some terminology and things. So it was real good. We had 2 returners that were there with them. And then come July, this past 4 weeks, we've had our whole team except for one. We had a young man who was blessed enough to play with his country in the FIBA. And so he was gone. But other than that, we had the other 12 here for that last 4 weeks. And I think we got a lot accomplished.
Talk about kind of maybe what you learned in your first season in the WAC. And, it's kind of crazy to think this is your last season in the WAC because you guys jumped to Conference USA. But, I mean, you went 13-5. You had, you swept the weekend when you hosted New Mexico State and Grand Canyon. Had kind of a weird loss at home against Utah Valley I mentioned in my article yesterday, which you guys really struggled down the stretch. And that might have cost you a share of that WAC regular season title because you should have probably won that game in your mind, I'm assuming. But like, what did you learn that maybe you're going to take into this season as you look back at last year?
Well, I think first of all, what a great league the WAC is, and kind of a bittersweet that we are going to only be in it one more year. I know the Conference USA will be a great challenge as well, but I just thought last year, just night in and night out, such great talent in the league and such great coaches, and just a really, really good basketball league, and probably one of the more underrated leagues in the country, in my opinion. But I think that I think you learn a lot about every league or at least every league I've been in. I think you learn a lot every year, about the teams and the coaches and the styles. And, I think it just gives you a little bit better perception of what it's going to take. And we have a lot of guys back. We've got 7 guys back. So they know exactly what it's like to go in certain venues and play on the road. And, that experience will help. There's no question about it. But, you look across the board and you just look at some of the teams and what they have coming back, and then some of the teams at what they've added. It's just not going to get any easier. It really isn't. And, our first year, I think you're disappointed because you didn't win the league or didn't get a piece of that championship. And, but I do think when you take a step back, you have to be pretty pleased with, entering that league in the first year, not really knowing what to expect from our team or others. and then just being right there and having a chance the last week. I think that's what you can always ask for. The Utah Valley game, there's a game like that almost in every league and every year. And you just pray, Kyle, that, you pray that that's a game that you can find a way to win. And, we had our chances at the end. Savion, one of the best players probably that we'll ever have here. And the thing I loved about Savion more than anything was just how good of a person he was or is. And, he's by here probably once a week now. Every 2 weeks he comes by getting ready to go overseas, and he's working out with our guys some. And, he and I sat down. He's like, hey, man, I missed a layup. We were a layup away from winning that league. Maybe not. Who knows what happens. But I just think, looking back, we're just right there. We're right there. And I think if our guys can take that same mindset into this season, hopefully we'll be right there again.
I guess when you sit down with a guy like Savion Flagg, who's played at the highest level, he's going to play professionally, here this next season. When he comes up to you and he missed, look, we were this close, but I missed this layup or I missed this shot that, his Twitter handle, his Instagram handle has the word humble in it. You talk about that. Have you ever seen a guy that humble that he's willing to admit, look, I may have cost us a regular season championship have you ever seen that as a coach in your time?
Not very often, that's for sure. He's definitely a throwback person. Just his mentality, his makeup, who he is. His parents have done an unbelievable job of raising him. He and I laugh sometimes because I tell him sometimes that, what makes us all good is sometimes what makes us bad as well. And I would wish that, sometimes he would, have gotten mad and cursed a little bit more maybe or something like that. But he and I laugh about it all the time. I think that's what makes him so good is he's so level. He's level and he's just right here all the time, kind of like a great boxer, never too high, never too low, never as good as it seems, never as bad as it seems. And I think that's also what makes him, what gave him that opportunity to put us in that position. We wouldn't have been where we were without him. And so, just to look back at it, I don't ever look at, I look at the layup as, God, man, he didn't have a great game. There's probably a ton of shots before that if he would have made that wouldn't even came down to a layup, or if we'd have just played better as a group and a unit. Because there's also other games you can kick yourself about. Kind of got a weird ending there at SFA.
Yep.
Felt really like we were coming on there at the end of that game, and if that game would have went overtime, probably would have figured out a way to win that game because we were really getting it going. Did not play well early, and you got to give them credit. They played great. So there's always things, we played probably, I'm not going to say we played as good as we could have, but we played pretty dang good at Seattle for 22 minutes and then just completely lost. The win came completely out of ourselves. And again, you got to give Seattle credit because they had a great team and were very good at home. So it's exciting. Probably, who knows, you win the game at Abilene, very easily could have lost that game. And then the game here against Abilene, Savion, well, there you go. Savion makes an incredible 3-pointer at the buzzer to put it into overtime. So, I think part of the game, it's like, you win some, you lose some. And Savion he'll be greatly missed. There's no question. I was talking with a good friend of mine the other day in another league. And, I was like, hey, how do you like your team? I love our team, but I don't have a guy right now. A guy is a guy you can depend on to go get a bucket when you need one, or a guy who, is going to get you 18 a night and you're really not worried about it. It's going to happen. Savion was that guy. And so we lost a guy, and we got to figure out if there's one, on this roster. And if there is, when's he going to step up when that time comes?
When you look at the rosters around the WAC right now, and I know you're focused on your team and getting, your stuff together and putting your team together and putting your schedule. But when you look at the teams that the rosters right now for this next 2022-23 season, do you see a lot of teams that have that guy? I mean, last year we had Fardaws, we had Savion Flagg, we had Teddy Allen, Darian Trammell. I mean, Holland Woods would do it for GCU, or maybe it would be Javon Blackshear, who's back for GCU this year. But, like, I feel like when I look around the WAC, it's a lot different build and roster-wise where it's deep, like you mentioned about your squad, where you got 7 guys back. Utah Valley's got most of its roster back without Fardaws. CBU is deep. GCU, I mean, it just seems like there's more depth rather than guys, I guess you can say. Does that make sense? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Totally makes sense. And I do think, though, that that'll be, in my opinion, that'll make this league even better this year, because I think every team is going to have some really good players. But, Kyle, I do think somebody will step up and elevate themselves on each of those teams. Like when you look at a team like, Grand Canyon, and I hate picking out teams because then obviously everybody else is like, well, you left. But, I think when you look at Grand Canyon, who in my opinion has probably the most guys back, and you look at, Blackshear and McLaughlin, and you look at the McMillan kid, I mean, there's 3 guys there that could all elevate themselves into elite players in this league. When you look at SFA, they had the Posey kid who was a freshman who was a really good player, and then Rati Ware who got hurt. And we all know how good Rati is. They have guys that you very easily could elevate themselves into being the best player in the league. And, look at Cal Baptist. They've got a lot of guys back, and, Armstrong, was a really good point guard that definitely is a guy that can elevate himself into a top player in this league. So, and again, I'm missing, I know Seattle's got some really good shooters back, and, just you could go on because I just think that's what kind of league this is. I mean, look at, Abilene's going to bring a lot of guys back, and then Joe Pleasant comes back off of a team who won. And, and again, I'm just, Tarleton's bringing back a lot of guys. I mean, there's a lot of players back, but I think to answer your question, I see that as an exciting thing, because I do think that there are players out there that are going to elevate themselves into the Savions and the Teddys, the guys from last year. I think that'll happen.
Let's talk a little bit about the schedule. I mean, last year, obviously, you played 4 home games, and only one of them was a Division I opponent. You got Missouri State at home. This year so far, I mean, you're playing both the Oklahoma schools and, Oklahoma State on the road. You're going to Nevada. You're going to Utah. I mean, and that's just plus your MTE. Like we mentioned it before, you had games you're trying to get at home and you had spots to fill. What's it like putting a schedule together where you can't get those quality home games, so you have to go on the road to play, the kind of brutal road trip schedule that you got?
Well, it's very frustrating. Probably the hardest thing, coaching in the season and all of that. We all know how hard that is, but to me, it's not near as hard as scheduling. Scheduling is just, I learned a long time ago. I got this from an old veteran coach, and he told me always do your schedule yourself. That way you take the middleman out and you have no one to blame but yourself, but it takes a lot of time out of my day just to work on that thing. And, what are we in? Today's the 9th of August, and I still need 4 games. And we have 0 Division I home games right now. So, Kyle, I've done it a long time. I've done the schedule a long time. We've gone into Labor Day before, trying to finish it, and I think that'll happen again this year. I think from time to time people get frustrated here with our program that we're playing a lot of non-D1s, but we're probably going to play 3 or 4 non-D1s this year just so we can get some home games. And, I hate doing that, but we got to play at home. It's not fair to our guys to not be able to play games here in front of, their home fans and, give themselves the best opportunity that they can. So, we're going to keep working on it. We'll get it accomplished. But I do like what we have on the road. I mean, I think we've got a great challenging schedule, as you said, playing both the Oklahoma schools. We've never done that before. That's kind of exciting. And then to go to a place like Nevada, I thought was a great trip for our guys and a really good league they play in and great challenge. And then Utah, who's, very well coached. Craig does a great job with those guys. And that's part of our MTE was going there. And then we get to go down to Fort Myers, Florida and play two really good mid-major schools, which, I want to do. I want to do more of that. I want to get some home and homes with mid-majors and give ourselves an opportunity to get those Missouri State, type games. Missouri State came in here last year and put it on us, probably as good as anybody ever has in this gym. But that game to me was the turning. I know the tournament at UTEP, you and I have talked a lot about that game kind of turning our season around. But to be honest, it was probably the Missouri State game here, because at that time I really saw what we needed to do offensively and what we needed to change. And so we kind of started implementing that in. And so that was a good game for us. And I think those early season games against the competition like a Missouri State or, a Missouri Valley school or something of that nature, I really think those things, they help you get better.
I was, I'm messaging Mudge about this, your associate head coach, Chris Mudge, that I'm pretty jealous that you guys get to be in Florida for Thanksgiving. I think that's going to be a nice little trip away from home, I guess, to spend a week in Florida for that.
We've been very blessed to have some we've had some good MTEs. We've done a good job, I think, of getting our guys into some nice areas and letting them see a lot of different places. And and usually the weather's been pretty good at those spots. So I'm excited. I think the tournament is it's strong field. We open up with Northern Illinois, play the winner of South Dakota and LIU Brooklyn. And, I just think that that's a real good setup. And, that's what we're going to try to do every year, go to one of those MTEs where we can get some neutral site games against, some strong mid-major competition.
So I got to ask you, last year you didn't have to come to Utah. You didn't have to play at Utah Valley or technically they were Dixie State last year. They're Utah Tech now. Now you get to come to Utah 3 different times after the WAC released its schedule, because you got to come to Orem to play Utah Valley. You got to go to St. George to play Utah Tech, and you got to go to Cedar City to play Southern Utah. You're going to get to know this state pretty well, Jason. I mean, are you looking forward to that? Is that just kind of just business as usual? But thoughts on that, considering that you're not going to have to come to Orem or Cedar City or St. George after this season, unless you reach out to Mark Madsen or Todd Simon or John Judkins to schedule when you're in Conference USA.
Well, more than likely, it's not something that we're going to try to do for sure. Those guys have great programs, and I'm sure those are hard places to play at. That'll be a tough trip and tough travel. And you left off going to University of Utah too. So
that too.
Yeah, man, we're going to be up there quite a bit for sure. I guess that'd probably be 3 trips?
3 trips, it looks like,
and 2 games in one of the trips. So, but no, I mean, when Utah came up, it was really more about the MTE than anything. But then I said, that'll give us a great chance to travel there. I'm assuming we'd probably fly into Salt Lake and quite a few of those, and to have a chance to just see what it's like for our guys and the travel. I think it'll help us for sure. But I know Coach Simon does a great job. We're actually, I believe, in my tenure as a head coach, we're 0-1 in Utah. So we went up and played Coach Pope his last year at Utah Valley. They were very, very good. And it was a great game. I think they had won 19 or 20 games, non-conference in a row at home. And we played them down to the wire there, which was a real good game for us. That was the year that we won the championship. And I thought that was one of those kind of games that got us prepared. So, it'll be exciting. I mean, it's a beautiful state. And again, I know they love basketball, and, it's going to be a challenge. I think every night in this league is a challenge for sure.
I want to ask you now, I'll get back to the roster a little bit. Is there any one of your returners that's kind of stood out to you right now? I mean, I know you got a lot of guards. You got Tristan back. Anybody that's kind of taken the reins as maybe the leader, or has it kind of been a collaborative effort for you throughout the summer?
I would call it more of a collaborative effort. There are a couple of guys on our team, like Dante Powers and Javion May that have a little more alpha personality, whereas a guy like Tristan leads more by example, and just a bring it every day type. So everyone, they usually follow behind him. But those two guys have really, Javion has almost stepped up and looked around and said, hey, this is, this is my team to lead. And so he and Dante have done a good job with that and the newcomers this summer. But it's exciting to have 7 guys back. We get into practice this summer and you put a drill in and you kind of teach it, and the next thing you know, you look up and those 7 guys are getting everybody in position to where they need to be. And that's fun. And I've told our staff, I mean, we need to try to bring back 6, 7, 8 guys every year. I don't think, bringing back less than 6, I think makes it very, very difficult. And that'll be hard in this new portal era. It'll be difficult to bring back 6, 7, 8 guys every year. But I can tell right now it's going to pay huge dividends when we get into September and October practices. It's been a lot of fun, and those guys are great. I mean, I think Tristan and Dante and Tristan and Javion will all graduate by Christmas, and of course they all had a COVID year. But those guys are all just super intelligent. They're all going to start working on master's degrees. So if there is any blessing with getting the COVID year back, besides having older guys, for sure, it's, all these guys are going to get a chance to get even more education.
Sorry. How unique is it to get 6 or 7 guys back on a roster, especially with the way the transfer portal is, and guys just, I mean, maybe they have one good season with the current team, boom, they're bolting for that portal thing, and they're going to take it up a level or something. How unique is that to have 6 or 7 guys return? I mean, that's got to make you feel good as a coach that they want to come back and play for you, considering the options that are out there nowadays in college basketball.
For sure, Kyle. I mean, I think more than anything, it just speaks volumes about our culture, because all 7 guys coming back, they're all culture guys. They're guys that believe in what we preach, believe in what we strive for and what we work for every day. They're all workers. They come in and they bring it every day. They work real hard. They care about each other. They care about their university. They're a lot of fun. I mean, these guys are what college basketball is all about. And, whether they had any opportunities or would have had any opportunities to leave, I do think they're guys that would come back and, and try to do this thing again. And, it's great to be able to have them, but it's also, as you said, it's a little surreal to know that, man, we got 7 guys back and they played in, the conference tournament, went, 3 rounds deep. So it definitely is. It's something I think going into practice, I feel a lot more comfortable with than I did this time last year.
We've talked about this before, the loyalty thing. I mean, this will be your 13th season as head coach at Sam Houston, second longest tenured head coach in the WAC. John Judkins has been at Utah Tech forever. So, I mean, and we talked about Savion, how you were the first to recruit him out of high school, and that loyalty that he showed by coming to Sam Houston to finish out his college career. Talk about that mindset of being loyal to where you're at and to who, I guess, gave you the shot as a head coach. And so, I mean, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a rarity, but it kind of is a rarity to see a lot of the loyalty that's put into certain, aspects of college basketball right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people that know me and then people that just meet me for the first time, they always are like, "You've been there how long?" I've been here 18 years. They're like, "Oh my God," it's a rarity for sure. I think a lot of coaches nowadays are, they're rightfully so. I mean, a lot of them are looking for, the next best thing, or they're on on the lookout for jobs and for one reason or another. And we've just been extremely blessed here. I say this all the time, but it starts from up top. Being able to have, I'm under my third president right now, Dr. Gattner, Dr. Hoyt, and now Dr. White. And, it's just been, to me, that's kind of been the mantra, is just how great our presidents have been. And then I think it all really starts with just our athletic director, Bobby Williams, who's been here for a long time. And, he and I obviously have a great relationship, but I think he really appreciates what we do as far as, running a clean program, graduating our student athletes, and then winning and being consistent, having an opportunity every year to be right there and having a chance to go, win a league and get to the NCAA tournament. I think we've been right there and we've proven that. So, and taking care of your business. I think those are the things that we've just tried to do here. And, I'm very blessed. I've got a family. My wife is a high school volleyball coach in a small town about 20 miles away, 30 miles away. And so, my children go to school there. My daughter actually plays for my wife. It's a family thing for us. And, and I'm a loyal person. As you said, Bob Marlin hired me here as an assistant. Bobby Williams hired me as the head coach. And, and I've been very thankful and blessed for that opportunity. And, we really like it here. It's been good to us. People are friendly and people give you an opportunity to do your job. And, and we feel like we do it the right way. So, I think just kind of being in the right place at the right time has been what this is all about. And again, I just feel like that we've kind of built a program here that, a lot of people respect. I think respect is something that we all do this for. I mean, you do an unbelievable job and you have a lot of respect from us and our profession and the media. So I think you do it because you like it, but also, you do this because you feel good when people respect you. And so I do think that we've got a lot of respect in our program here. And, and I'm not tooting our horn or anything, but, I also think it's really hard the reason why we haven't been able to get home games. It's tough. I mean, I don't think a lot of people want to come here and play. And so, it's like last year. I mean, the guy at Missouri State, I really didn't know him, but he and I got to be good friends after that game, even though he, spanked us, because I got a lot of respect for the guy for coming here to play us. And, he came in here and kicked our tail, and I respected him even more. So, we're just try to keep on keeping on. It'd be great to leave the WAC with a championship. I know there's 12 other teams that want to do that as well, and a lot of real good coaches and a lot of real good players in this league. And I just can't speak enough volumes about how good this conference is. It's a really good basketball conference.
All right, I got one last question for you, Jace. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. You go to Conference USA next year. Your big-time rival is staying in the WAC. Has there been any discussion with Kyle Keller about making sure that Sam Houston and Stephen F. Austin continue to play every year?
Well, yes, for sure. He and I have talked. He and I are good friends. It's always difficult to it's weird. I mean, because, there's a love-hate there for sure between the two schools, but he and I are good friends. We talk a lot. We text a lot. We've brought it up to each other, and we're definitely going to make that happen. I think the biggest thing we've talked about is, do you do home and home in the same year? Do you start at one place, or do you go to, the Toyota Center and play a neutral site game? I think we both have a hard time getting home games. So, I jokingly told him I don't want to play because they've obviously, probably overall they've got our number. They've probably got the leg up on us for sure in wins. So I told him that we might not do it, but we will. We'll figure out a way to play. And I mean, it's a lot of excitement for the fans, but also just like anything else, Kyle, I mean, they're a really good basketball team that's well coached. And so, just doesn't do anything but make your team better. It makes your team better. And it's an exciting game to play for sure.
I love it. I've always been an advocate of playing in-state games. I mean, like I said, with Utah Tech, Southern Utah, and Utah Valley, if they're not playing the other in-state schools in BYU, Weber, and Utah and Utah State, it's kind of a disappointment because you love to see those in-state games. So, and especially a big-time rivalry like Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin. So, Jason, thanks for taking the time. Again, Sam Houston head coach, men's basketball, Jason Hooten, entering his 13th year as head coach of the Bearkats. So, I'm gonna be in Huntsville in about a month. I told Hoot I'm gonna be down there. I'm gonna come down as my trip to Texas. Gonna catch the football game and visit the campus and see what it's all about, and we're gonna have a good time.
No, we're looking forward to having you here. And I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, man, we're going to get you a big Texas juicy steak. So we're going to treat you right down here. We appreciate all you do for the WAC and for basketball, mid-major basketball. I think, you're one of the best out there. And I think the thing I appreciate about you the most is you always you tell it how it is. And, I think you're a positive influence for sure. And I know I follow you. I'm not a big social media guy, but I do enough, and I do follow you, and I do know you put up with a lot of stuff from some fan bases, and it's not ours, so I can't say that, but appreciate all you do for us and for basketball in this conference.
Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody, as we bring you the Eat 'em Up Cats content. We'll have the previews on Friday. Watch for those on WACHoopsDigest.com. And again, enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow us on Twitter at WAC Hoops Digest and Facebook under WAC Hoops Digest for all your WAC Hoops news and information.